Hello everyone, now I am going to discuss about the forms of communication. There are different forms of communication which differ from one another. So let us discuss the forms of communication. So the first form of communication that you can see on the screen is one-way and two-way communication. What is one-way communication? When the sender does not receive any kind of feedback or response from the receiver's end, that is known as one-way communication. A newsreader reading news on television is a form of one-way communication. When you see hoardings on the roadside, that is a one-way communication. When you see an advertisement on television, that is also a one-way communication. So there are some kind of advantages and disadvantages of one-way communication as well. It saves a lot of time and a lot of information can be conveyed. The sender cannot be interrupted. It is generally effective in mass communication. However, there are some disadvantages as well. Sometimes the message does not get transmitted due to receiver's inability to listen or understand. It can also create misunderstandings. The next is two-way communication. So two-way communication involves both the sender and the receiver. Face-to-face communication, telephonic conversations, group discussions are the few examples of two-way communication. So two-way communication ensures that communication takes place as the message is transferred with transmission of understanding. Misunderstandings can be removed. It can be considered as an effective way of communication. Next is formal and informal communication. Formal communication is basically related to workplace communication. When you talk with your boss, when you talk with your colleague about a project, that is basically a formal communication. Meetings, conferences, circulars can be considered as formal communication. Informal communication, so it is spontaneous and off the records and beyond organizational hierarchy. It has no set of rules and regulations and no particular direction. When you discuss about your life, your dreams, your desires, that can be considered as an informal communication. In an organization, both formal and informal communication takes place. When you talk about work, that is formal communication, and apart from work, definitely you talk about other things at your workplace as well. So whenever you are talking about your personal life or some other things, then that is regarded as informal communication. So formal communication basically passes through a line in authority and consequently ensures the maintenance of authority as well as accountability of the executives in charge. It generally helps to develop intimate relations between the immediate boss and his subordinates. But it also widens the communication gap between top executives and employees at the lower level. In case of informal communication, it is multidirectional. It can flow to any direction and degree with no constraint, whereas hierarchical constraints are imposed on the formal network. Informal communication strengthens the social dimensions of the organization as it provides platform for employees' social gathering not only in organization but outside the organization also. Informal communication also supplements the formal communication.